This is Vincent. And, together we work on a project, several projects. One of the projects that we worked on last year is Gewildgroei.
In Dutch, or in the Netherlands, we don't like spontaneous vegetation in the streets. So it is removed. We invest a lot of time and money in removing those plants. Actually, the plants that do best in the city. And we have the word for weeds in Dutch. It's very negative. So it basically says plants that are no good. And there is no positive word to describe nature in the city, basically. So we came up with this word. Gewildgroei is a combination of two words, and it means plants that grow by themselves in a place that they are wanted. So Gewildgroei is a project, and it's also a movement. So it's very open. We like to share it, and we're looking for partners also in different countries.
One of the goals of the movement Gewildgroei is to get this new word into the dictionary.
It's not the plants themselves that are the problem. If you should show people the plants and ask them what do you think of this flower, people like the flowers, but it's just that they're in the wrong time and the wrong place. So when you change the context around this plant, people look at it in a different way. So that's what we constantly do. We do it with a name, but we also do it literally. We make street tiles. So the plants that normally grow in between the street tiles, we make open street tiles, and they grow in the street tiles. So it's not that the municipality forgot to take them away, and then people perceive these same plants in a different way.
We basically did this from a problem, what was before a problem, we created a solution, because you can use these spontaneous plants for a lot of things in the city. For example, to cool down the city, or to make sure the rainwater can infiltrate again into the ground instead of going to the sewer system. I think also what people like about it.
Until a few months ago, it was municipalities used pesticides to get rid of the plants. It's now forbidden, and there are these like containers you can put on your back with a pump, and you can spray kill the weeds. We wear them at a festival, and we make cocktails out of weeds, and we serve these drinks from the container. So people are are a bit afraid in the beginning, like what's this? We also have the municipality uses certain vehicles to drive around the city, or their workers use them to get the weeds out of the city. We bought such a vehicle, and we're driving around with also an orange light on it. We dress the same as those guys, and we meet them on the street and we wave at them. And it's like the ice cream car, you know. You drive into to an area, and it goes very slowly, like 15 kilometers an hour. So people have all the time to come out of their house and be like, "What are you doing?"
We also, with this car, we also collaborated with a smart crusher, somebody that can crush concrete and do it in such a way that it is 100% recyclable. So we could literally take one tile out of the street and crush it, and then make a new tile of the same concrete.
We work with, on the one hand, we work with urban planners and the government or the municipality. But on the other hand, we also think if you want to change the city, you should go out on the streets. And they set up these systems that work in a good way, and it's very automated and efficient. And so they have these books with pictures. There are different categories how to maintain the public space. There are example pictures. This is how a piece of grass should look like.
It's very based on making agreements, because the municipality is not doing the maintenance themselves, but they rent it to contractors. And this is a good way in making agreements from people to people, but the natural system is not really in the system. So you're constantly working against nature or the way the plants themselves develop. And
it's really hard to change this system or to change one part in the system because it's all linked together. When we first showed our design for the tiles to the municipality, they literally said we have a department stone and we have a department green, and we don't know which your product is in between. We don't know which department you should go to. So that's also why we go on the streets. So if people support the idea, then they just take out a tile in front of their house and then also in a way adopt it. And the whole project is actually about a mind shift. So that just takes a very long time.
And even, for example, we made some test sites on this in the Bos. We did it together with the municipality in front of a big cultural center. It's very nice and everybody's very happy, but still now already twice the municipality cut away the plants that we were trying to grow just because of miscommunication. So even when the municipality wants to work with you, it's not always really working.
So we've been focusing on trees. They grow very differently from the trees in the Netherlands. In the Netherlands, we like to control nature, so we like to design with it, not for it. There's an interaction between the city, the built environment, and the trees. We see that you leave half a building because you want to save the tree. That's for us really special. But also if a tree grows askew, you start to support it with all kinds of structures, and we would probably cut it down. Or like when there are roots growing over the pavement, it would be a problem. It would be like pedestrian safety would be first, and so the tree would also have probably be removed or something like this. Forest bathing, and for us this is a really special word. For you it's very normal, common, you all know it. We don't have this word in our language. So, and we asked ourselves, like, how can this forest bathing, you can go out of the city and to the mountains to relax, but how can you introduce this in the city? Because there's where you actually need it much more. It's more valuable.
We did this workshop and we collected a lot of very interesting and special memories.
And people talk about snow, and I mean there are many examples of natural experiences that are not visual, but I mean you have more senses than just sight. So like there's a guy telling like he would drive a scooter and he would not drive to the traffic lights, but he would wait under a tree because there's a shadow, like that only foreigners will drive to. So you have the big parks, you have neighborhood parks, smaller parks everywhere, and we like to introduce pinpoint parks, and those are just very small experiences of nature, which, yeah, like I said, it can be a smell, or it can be just 1 square meter, or it can be a view. So by working together with this group, we hope that more possible sites will pop up, and that we can continue on this. And we started to produce the stones ourselves because we didn't want to wait. You have to start somewhere.
Yeah, in Dutch we say we want to start a green revolution. So we want to make the city much more green and take over the public space.
Like the public space is usually controlled by professionals and by the city, and the parks and the like urban greenery is also designed by the city for the citizens. But it's not common that you as a citizen can create nature, public or like nature in the city. So when it becomes really small, like that also means like groups of citizens or citizens could create those moments.
But we also, because we now have these workshops and we have the people that participate in, but it could also become something that is not only for the workshop, but it could become a website or like just a more general database where people can, if they know interesting spots or have their own encounters or memories, to build on this database.
We actually would like that, like these memories we collected, it would be really nice if this database can grow, the database of opportunities. So that becomes a sort of endless possibilities of